another episode of Spidey Sense. This is where I'm talking about Black History Month. Black people have done a lot of good things to the world. They changed a few laws. They gave themselves more respect. So we've gotten a lot more respect for Black people than we have in way back in the old days. So it's because people are starting to respect people more. Because, we have very less respect. We have very less respect to our planet. See? But people have very less respect for everything, for the planet. Yeah, they do. And I'm just going to talk about Martin King Luther Jr., Viola Desmond, Gandhi, which I'd like to give Gandhi a nickname as the most peaceful man on earth. Okay, let's start with Viola Desmond. So Viola Desmond was a black girl, and she had a few little sisters, which I'm going to mention them later. So she wanted to get her hair cut, and where she lived, there was no barbershops for black women. So she drove all the way to a barbershop for black people. She got her hair cut. She went back home. Then she decided to start her own hair salon for black people who have to drive very, very, very far to get her hair cut. Viola Desmond is Canadian. Yahoo, Canada. That's where I live. Well, almost. No. Okay. Anyways, so Viola started her own hair salon. She even got some gels, some powder, and some makeup. And then one day, it was raining. She drove, but her car made this noise. And she thought she was pulling the brakes. And she was not mistaken. She was not pulling the brakes. What was actually happening was that she had, let me see. So she had a broken car. She went to the movie theater. So then she found out a new movie theater. So she went to the movie theater, and the ticket guy said, 2 tickets for the balcony. And Viola was like, is this some kind of joke? No, I want it for the main floor. Sorry, whites only. I'm like, what is going on? So why are they trying to separate the blacks from the whites? So whites go here, blacks go here. So blacks have a harder time in seeing the movie. That's what's going on, man. That's what's going on, ticket holder. That's what's going on. Trying to confuse the black people and make them not be able to enjoy the movie like the whites, then you ticket holder are cold. You have a cold heart. You have very less respect for some people. Because you're trying to separate the blacks from the whites. What is the big deal if they just jumble up and mix? What is the big deal, ticket holder? Huh? Ticket holder, you have a very cold heart. But that's not what Viola said. She anyways booked the tickets for the balcony, but sat on the main floor. After she was on the main floor, she saw this guy was like, "Hey, that's my spot! Hey, that's my spot, woman! Get off! Get!" Then she's like, "No, man, no." Then this guy called the police, and then the police kicked her out. Literally kicked her out. Poof. After Viola was kicked out, she was sent to jail, and she didn't cry. She didn't even cry about this. I mean, if I was in the situation, I would be so mad at everyone. She was just wide awake the whole night. Next night, she went to a court of law. The next day, she went to a court of law. The next day, she went to a court of law. And then the witnesses, and then she lost the case. Viola Desmond lost the case. You know what? I don't want to even try. I don't want to even... So why was she even... So, let's just rewind the story. Let's see the chain of events. Viola hops in movie theater. Instead of goes to balcony, goes to main floor. Guy says, "Hey, that's my spot, woman." Guy calls police. Police kicks Viola out. Viola goes to jail. Viola stays up the whole night, wide awake. Viola goes to a court of law and loses the case. The witnesses, everyone was there. The ticket holder, that weird guy that called the police were even there. And some weird people in the back. They were pretty weird. Not weird, but they're unknown ghosts. So Viola lost the case and continued to go to jail. She actually took a break from jail. A jail break. A jail break. And afterwards, Viola just went to someone else. And then Viola got a lawyer and a friend. And then she went to a court of law again. And then after the court of law, they lost again! Seriously! Well, no one mentioned about her skin color, but everyone in the court of law knew that was about it. So they were pretty much hiding that they were racist or something. So, anyways, Viola just goes to jail, and then after that, she goes to her hair salon. She gets her car fixed, goes to her hair salon. She tells this to her customers, and her customers are like, "What?" And some customers are like, Forget about it. These guys are just the worst. Kick them. Don't just kick them in the face. Don't just punch or kick or do anything to them. So Viola just agreed to them. And then she carried on with her life. She died. Well, so she died. But her sisters, told you I would mention them. One of her sister, when she was much, much older, like 87, she went to a couple colleges, schools, and other places to tell the kids about it. And the kids even agreed, saying, "That's so unfair! I hate these people." And then one kid was like, "What happened next?" And then she told the story of Viola Desmond to reporters, colleges, schools, and there's the same thing like that. Martin King Luther Jr. Martin King Luther Jr. I'm just gonna call him that. So Martin King Luther Jr. said, so my teacher read us a book about it. It was so amazing. So when I was reading that book, I felt like people have done a lot of mean stuff to people, specifically about their race, their skin color. I mean, no one has said that about me, but still waiting. Well, not waiting for it. It's actually kind of mean when someone says it. Really, by kind of mean, I mean really, really mean. Anyways, so Martin King Luther Jr. was a nice guy. And when he was a kid, his mom would just go to airports and public places, and it said whites only. What in the world is wrong with the white people? Why did they disrespect people because of their skin color? Just the skin color. Treat someone the same because their skin. Just treat someone the same way. Doesn't matter of their skin color. Just treat someone the same. So what if this guy walks in and when this guy is white and this guy's brown like me? So what if this guy walks in and he's like, "Oh, hey, you're brown." And this other guy says, "That's not funny. That's not funny. Do you know what day? Do you know what month it is?" "No." Black month. Black History Month. So what? Yeah, that's pretty much what people do about people's skin color. Skin color. Just that. Whites only, and whites only. Said it everywhere where you went. Whites only, whites only, whites only. Even the cabs were like, whites only. So one woman went in this bus. I'm not saying it's a subway. She just went into this bus. And in the olden days, when you were in a bus, it's actually the blacks just had to sit at the back when the whites sat at the front. Even the driver was a white, I'm pretty sure. Because no one really hired a black to be. So anyways, this lady was sitting in the front. A black woman was sitting in the front, and then this guy called the police, like Viola Desmond. Didn't you remember when that guy called the police? Cause Viola wasn't sitting in the balcony of in the movies. So this guy called the police on this woman, and then she went to jail. So Martin King Luther Jr. Distributed this to the whole country of America, I think. And then they're like, that's not fair. So for 381 days, people didn't take the bus. They walked in the scorching hot. They walked, sang, prayed, ran. They walked, talked, sang, prayed, ran in the cold, hot, rainy, in the fall temperature. And that cost a lot of money for the city. So the guys were like, fine, whatever, sit wherever you want. Sit wherever you want, guys. So then everyone came back to the bus, and that's just one story. Once Martin King Luther Jr. and his father, Martin King Luther Sr., went into a shoe store, and then at the shoe store, they were trying on some new shoes. And Martin King Luther Jr. was sitting at one table at a bench, and then they were like, and then the owner was like, the manager was like, I'm sorry, get out. The bench is for whites only. You know, this episode of Spidey Sense is dedicated to anti-racism. Because it's Black History Month. February. Just go outside the very next day, because it's night, and just yell anti-racism or Black Month History or whatever. Because it's Black History Month. So just celebrate that people can sit wherever they want. They can just book tickets on the main floor, not the balcony of a movie theater. Think that you can sit wherever you want on a bus. Thanks to that, that just is why you just have to celebrate it. Black History Month. The end to this episode. Just celebrate Black History Month. Goodbye.